People talk about success stories all the time. But some success stories do not just beat the odds, they break the equation. By every measurable metric, Emiway should not exist at the top of Indian hip-hop. No major label, no industry protection, no radio push, no elite cosigns. And yet he did not just survive, he dominated. Mathematically, this should not happen. In any music industry, power follows structure. Labels control distribution. Gatekeepers control visibility. Media controls narrative. Artists outside that system usually burn bright for a moment and disappear. That is the rule. Diss culture makes it even worse. History proves this again and again. Artists diss for attention, spike for a few weeks, then collapse under their own noise. Because beef creates hype, not foundation. And hype without structure always dies. Yet Emiway did the impossible. He took the most unstable weapon in music, conflict, and turned it into the most stable asset of his career. While the industry played chess, Emiway played survival. Every diss against him was supposed to isolate him. Instead, it polarized the audience. And polarization is stronger than approval. Because approval is passive, identity is active. His listeners did not just like his music, they saw themselves in him. An outsider fighting insiders, a lone artist against a coordinated system. Every attack on Emiway felt personal to his fans. Every reply felt like retaliation. That is where the math broke. Most artists chase validation. Emiway absorbed resistance. And resistance, repeated long enough, turns into belief. People say he never lost a beef. That is not technically true in the lyrical sense, but that is not how dominance works. He never disappeared. He never got erased. He never became irrelevant. In music, that is the only real loss. Every time the industry expected him to fall off, he stayed present. Every time critics predicted the end, his audience grew louder. Because success is not decided by bars alone. It is decided by retention. Many rappers can diss. Very few can hold attention after the noise fades. That is where almost everyone fails. Emiway did not. And the reason goes deeper than music. His independence was not branding. It was reality. He did not choose the harder path for aesthetics. He was already on it. There was no safety net, no controlled narrative, no PR reset after mistakes. Every win and every flaw happened in public, and paradoxically, that made him stronger. Fans do not follow perfection. They follow resilience. Once an artist survives enough public damage, something changes. They stop being evaluated. They start being defended. That is when an artist becomes untouchable. This is why there can be no other Emiway. Not because others lack talent, not because others lack hunger, but because the conditions that created him no longer exist. The industry is too organized now. Algorithms are too optimized. Independence is too curated. Rebellion is too monetized. You can imitate the sound. You can imitate the aggression. You can even imitate the controversies. But you cannot imitate being first. You cannot recreate a time when everything was stacked against you, and you still won. Emiway is not just successful. He is statistical defiance, a case study where the model failed. An artist who proved that belief, consistency, and confrontation can sometimes overpower structure itself. That is not repeatable. That is historical. And history does not get sequels. What makes this even more improbable is time. Most artists peak once. They rely on a moment, a sound, a wave. When that wave passes, so do they. Emiway outlived his moments. He moved through cycles of hype, backlash, ridicule, silence, and return. Each cycle was supposed to end him. Instead, each one hardened the base that stayed. That kind of loyalty cannot be purchased. It cannot be engineered by marketing. It is earned only through exposure, repetition, and refusal to quit. He stayed visible without permission. He stayed loud without validation. He stayed present without approval. And presence compounds. At a certain point, numbers stop being metrics. They become evidence. Evidence that an audience is no longer listening casually. They are invested. That is why attacks stopped weakening him. That is why criticism stopped slowing him. Because by then, the connection was no longer musical. It was psychological. The industry measures success by control. Emiway measured it by continuity. And continuity is undefeated. Endurance beats systems when systems expect collapse. And that is why the equation broke. Completely, irreversibly, forever. That is why his rise still matters, not as nostalgia, not as noise, but as proof that belief can survive pressure, time, and resistance when it is real.